Well, two honks and Kim just messing around. You'll never know what they talk about on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. You might hear something about the NBA. Maybe they'll just make your day on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. It's sports and life and family too. Let's all listen to two honks and a Kevin. Yeehaw! I just crap my pants. I've got moves, man.
What's up? It is May 19th.
That laugh brightens my Wednesday.
It gets hype, doesn't it?
So yeah, it's
what's up? What's going on?
Of Blake. So how's it going? How was your trip? I guess we'll just start.
How'd last week go? Dude, it was awesome. For those that didn't listen last week, we went on a camp, or 2 weeks ago, I guess. We went on a camping trip, and this is actually the first time we've gone on a camping trip with all the girls. And we rented out a treehouse in Germantown, Kentucky, and it was really cool. I mean, just the treehouse in itself was pretty awesome. I've come to find out now by doing more searches that there's like tree houses everywhere, and there are some that are like $600 a night. Like it's insane. There's some really cool ones out there, but yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, there's a few things that were like, it was kind of like on a hill, so it's like like where I would do the fire and cooking. Like I was just constantly kind of like not breaking my ankles, but just on some tough terrain, I guess. But I mean, it's kind of part of it, But usually your camp area is kind of the flattest area, but whatever, it's beside the point. It was awesome. But the second day we went, or the second day we were there, I should say, Nika wanted to go on a hike. Well, we all.
Uh-oh, he's gonna be so mad.
I know, he's talking and we can't hear him. That's awesome.
Still yapping. He's gonna be so angry. You can't even hear him.
We can't hear you.
It just went beep.
All right.
So while he's
it's
all good. We'll get back to that. Kevin, A&E documentary. You've only watched Booker T, right?
So today, actually, I've been off. My week is weird because I'm covering people, right?
I'm back.
Blake, let us know when you can hear us. My week's been weird because
I've got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can finally hear you.
We can get back to the documentary. All right, go.
Yeah,
you basically left off with Nika wanted to go on a hike.
Okay, so inside the treehouse there was a map, and it showed like this area to go hike, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I was kind of had that mindset of like, well, we got a 3-year-old with us, so my expectations aren't too high that we're going to finish this. I mean, it's it's a hike, right? So, but there was this place. There was on the map. It showed a pond, and it said Magic Pond. So that was kind of our whole goal, was to hike to the Magic Pond, and there was talks of maybe bringing our fishing poles and all that, but it looked like it was going to be a decent little walk. So I was like, I'm not trying to bring my, my rods with me or whatever. And the chances are there's probably no fish in it. So anyway, so we're on the hike. I'm telling you, we get from our doorstep and we walk maybe 20 yards and Evie's already complaining. My legs are tired. I mean, like we literally haven't even started. So I'm already like, okay, well, all right. We're going to walk a little bit and then we're going to turn back around. That was not the case. When my wife sets her mind to do something, she does it, and it's going to finish, man. We're going to get to the Magic Pond. So I will say that the first day was really rough. So anyway, so we go. I mean, I'm carrying Evie. Nika's carrying her. More than I am, to be honest with you, because Evie always has to have her mama. So we're hiking. We're going up. Like, I was actually pretty shocked by the terrain, so to speak, that we were on. More of like tire tracks, from it being mudded. So your ankles were just always like. Shit. After the first day, I was like, man, my ankles are. Yeah, my ankles are sore. So, and then Nika has a new pair of boots on, so she gets a big blister on her heel. But besides, so anyways, so we actually kind of get lost. Mind you, I've got a 3-year-old that's crying this whole time, and a 9-year-old, to be honest with you, that wasn't behaving any better. What's that?
Oh, I was just laughing. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
I go through this every Sunday during our Sunday bike ride. My daughter doesn't. She gets like half a mile down the road, and she's just like, "I'm done."
Yeah,
Right.
I know. And and then I start,
Miserable.
I mean, there's a lot going on. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this, because there's a part of me that's like, no, I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to turn back around. Like, this is silly. Like, I'm getting irritated. Like, this isn't fun for them. So let's bounce, Well, Nika didn't. I mean, I remember having a switch at one point in my head where I was like, okay, no, we're going to tough through this and we're going to finish this. Like, that's kind of, I think that was like my wife's mentality. And I'm more of like, dude, if they're not having fun and crying, like, let's go chill by the fire because we can relax there, So anyways, so we kind of get lost. We end up going up this hill that we didn't even have to go up. And I'm telling you, man, like I had to stop a couple of times. I mean, I'm not in that great of shape myself, especially to go do, stuff like this. We'd stop, I'd carry Evie, Nico carry Evie, yada, yada. And then we get to the magic pond. And let me tell you, it was everything but magical. It was like run down. It had like green moss all over it. It was all.
Ugh, I hate that. Like I can smell it right now in my nostrils.
It's a wiper. Could have gone downtown and got that, homie.
Hey, I
Exactly. I could have
thought
got
when
that
you
in my
when you
backyard.
said Magic Pond, I thought there was only two ways that this could be. It was like either trash or like they had like unicorn
Yeah.
catfish over here just going up and like, hey, catch me.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
it was messing with her, like saying, "Hey, if we keep going, we'll get to a magical pond." To like,
Oh
here
no.
talking.
No, that was the map. Like there was a hidden pond that we found, there's because it was cool. Like it had a map to where it's like you would go to different areas and then there would be like a canopy so you could rest on. Like we went through the creeks, we skipped rocks. I mean, there was a lot that went on that was awesome. There was like a net we went across to get to the other side. So that was fun because like especially Addie, like she was kind of scared. My middle child, she was scared. Ella would go. She was always the guinea pig. She would just go, and then Addie would follow behind her, but she was always so scared. So there was a lot of, hey, face your fears, man. You just saw your sister do it. Now it's your turn. Now you can tell it's safe. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So there was, it's funny when you kind of go on an adventure like that, you start kind of seeing some like characteristics in your family members, I mean, even in myself where I was just like, no, like, let's just go back home, but there was that, like, no, we set out to do this. There's a lot of crying and fussing, but in the end, we're going to accomplish it, So, unfortunately, the reward at the end was just a big pile of poop. So that's what sucked. But what was funny,
but now you always got that story,
the owners, yes, exactly. Well, exactly. And so the way the setup was there was like maybe 10 yards from the treehouse. There was a bathroom, an outhouse, and it was there was obviously some poop in it, but it was a little gross, but all the girls used it didn't mind, right? Like Richard, he's like, nope, both of y'all a bunch of wimps, y'all too soft.
I've done my fair share, dude. I mean. Out in the field, I used to crap sitting on a shovel.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Yeah,
This
picture of places Richard has crap.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I can see where you're like, nope, I'm good. That's not relaxing to me. That brings back bad memories.
Right.
Hey, I looked at your pictures and it changed my mind. Like if I was going to camp, it'd be something like that because I like how the setup was. Like it's not hardcore camping, right? And it's a tree house, so that's kind of cool. And you can take your dog. There's not too many vacations where you can take your pet, and that's one of them. So that's why I looked at your pictures. I was like, man, I might do something like that. How many days did you go?
Yeah. So we went 4 days. We got there on a Wednesday. And it was a 2-hour and 40-minute drive. So that was the other thing that was nice. It wasn't like this 12-hour drive to get somewhere. Yeah. And we were there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we left Saturday morning. And that was enough. Like I think I probably could have done one more day, but it's different when you're camping. Hey baby.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah. You can have something to eat. Patty, you got her. I'll say yes to anything right now. You can have anything you want.
I would say
Just
3 days max on something like that. Because not only that, like, didn't you guys get
yeah.
some rain?
No, no. Oh my god, dude. The sky, I mean it was so beautiful. Like the weather was amazing, man. Like we were so lucky.
Right
So there
on.
was no rain. There I mean there was a few things that happened. Hold on. Let me go back to the so we talked to the owners.
Hmm.
And because what I was gonna say is that they had the outhouse, and then like maybe 100 yards up, like we would always drive there. There was a bathhouse, so you could take a shower. There was a full toilet, running water, and all that. So that was nice. Like if you didn't want to take a crap in the outhouse or whatever, you could just go up there and do it. So
Yeah, I'm doing a
you
lot
know,
of driving.
yeah, I mean it's a little it's glamping, I guess, at with a little bit of roughness,
Right.
added into it. So anyway, so we see the owners and they're like, "Hey, how are you doing? Is there anything any good, any feedback you can give us, yada yada." And I just leaned. My wife was in the driver's seat and I was in the passenger seat. And I just leaned over. I go, "Hey, that magical pond ain't magical at all." I go, it looks rough. They go, "What pond?" And the man of the property, he was like, "I didn't even know there was a pond up there." I was like, "Guys, it's on your map. It's labeled Magic Pond." And they just start laughing like, "Oh my gosh, like you guys probably thought it was gonna be really magical and it was just like run down." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Put a swing there, put some flowers there, like really." But it kind of showed you that like no one really goes to this pond, but we kind of we went up this massive hill and around the corner, like we went on this
Right.
adventure, So, but anyway, so it was pretty cool. But
That was probably something they hired somebody else to do. You know what I mean? That's probably
yeah,
no idea. They're like, oh, what?
yeah. Well, and it's fairly new, so I don't know this guy, but I think his name is Pete Nelson. I think he's the one that has the TV show of building houses or building tree houses, and he built one on their property, and she told me they're like he charges like $300,000.
I believe it.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, these houses, because I was trying to figure out like how much these houses were. I thought maybe 100, 150 grand.
Oh no, I mean I think really a lot of it has to do with the architecture of making sure it's engineered correctly. I think that's
Yeah.
probably
Right. And
when
then,
you talk about
how many amenities, right?
yeah, I mean that's probably at least $150,000 right there.
That's true.
Throwing up
Just for the
I-
engineer.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like Kevin said, you're probably paying more to get everybody to lift all the amenities up there and
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then I don't know if I'm sure you all can relate to this. I don't know. So the next day, so I had all my rods with me. I literally borrowed a buddy's truck and drove separate just so I could have my rods and we could just have some extra space, and Ella and my dog rode with me. And so I was determined to fish. So I was told that there was a lake nearby to go fishing, and I was like, all right, cool. I didn't do any research because I'm a guy. I was just like, once I get there, I'll just search lake near me, and that's going to be the town. I knew the city, I knew the town or whatever. So I get there and we take off. I just put in the first lake that pops up. And at this point, I'm just trying to find a lake, just to throw off the bank, like something simple, right? So I see Lake Charles. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like that sounds like a great lake to go to. So we're driving, and we get there, and it like wants us to turn into a property, but it says private property, Lake Charles Lake or something like that. And I was just like, ah, crap. So I've got, a 3-year-old now whining at this point because she's like, when are we gonna be there? Whatever. It's like because it's like a 20-minute drive. So now I'm like, well, crap. Now I'm in this city that like I know nothing about. I can't find the lake is whatever, right? So we just start. I finally give the phone to Nika. I was like, I'm sorry, this is a bust. Like, dad failed. Looks like we're not fishing. Like, just find me something. So I don't even know how we ended up at this spot, but we turned down this gravel road and we kind of went down this hill, and there was this bridge and then we were right along the Ohio River, and there was a massive bridge, and I was just like, well, this is cool. So we sat there, and I knew we weren't going to catch anything because we were fishing out of the Ohio River, but we at least threw in there. And then we ended up having lunch on the Ohio River. So that was kind of a added, fun part to the trip. So yeah, man. But I know that was long winded, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. It was cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I
So
lost
question.
on gravel road in God's country.
What kind of amenities was in the treehouse?
So it came with all your bedding. It came with dishes. It comes with water, and then you can also fill it up at the bathhouse. We brought our own jugs to like brush our teeth with and stuff like that. But there's our boy making noise again.
I thought Amy maybe tackled.
Nah, that was me.
But they have like everything's battery operated, so they have like we was able to charge our phones at night. And then they have a generator there for, like, the weather was so nice, we didn't have to turn on the heat, we didn't have to turn on anything. It was perfect. But it had a charcoal grill there for you. So yeah, I mean, it was like there was some stuff we should have brought that I was just like, I can't believe, like, just simple stuff like plastic silverware because we knew that we knew that all that stuff was there. But I mean, once again, we've talked about that before. Throwing away a plate is a lot easier than washing it, especially when you don't have a sink. So, and like, there's a French press there, if you wanted to make coffee or whatever. I kind of brought my own stuff, but yeah, man, it was and like three hammocks set up, or 4 hammocks set up for you, a big canopy, and then of course a fire pit and chairs. So you literally, you really just need your food and your clothes, and a few knickknack things. Yeah. So it was, I highly recommend it. I know you guys don't really like camping, but it's man, it was so relaxing.
I'm sure it was,
Yeah.
But that sounds kind of cool. All right, so my question is, were you able to like go in a treehouse and like close the door? Like, you could seal something on.
So
see, I can do that.
Yeah, it to the point where the first night, like, I remember waking up and I was just like, I didn't even feel like I was camping. Like, I didn't hear the birds, I didn't hear the bugs, I didn't hear the frogs. Like, that's kind of that night sound that you like. And that just kind of showed me how enclosed the treehouse was, because once you walk into the first part, you go up the stairs, and then you're in like the kitchen area and then the living room, and then you go out the back and there's a little patio set, and then you walk across a bridge that's just basically floating in the air. Right. It's obviously tied to trees, and it's a little wobbly. It's but the kids, that became the fun thing to do, is they would run across that, and then that went into a bunk bed. Another room with a bunk bed. So, and then the kitchen had above the kitchen, there was a bed. So there was a king size, I guess a king size bed, or a twin, I guess it would be. And then 2, whatever those are. I don't know my bed sizes. Refrigerator. Oh, no refrigerator. So yeah, we had to bring the cooler. Yeah. But we we pre-made everything. We pre-made our hamburgers. We to where all I had to do was just throw it on the grill. Mm-hmm. Like we had our eggs already beaten, and they were actually in like an old orange juice bottle, to where you just pour it out on the skillet and cook up your egg. I mean, dude, we had French toast with strawberries on it. Like, we had pancakes, we had hamburgers, bratwurst, we had fajitas. Like, I mean, dude, all on open fires and then that charcoal grill. It's so fun, man. You got it, Kevin. I want to take you camping, bro.
Hey, it's like 2 days max. I would be able to do that. 2 days.
No,
2 to 3.
Yeah. We'll go like 1 day or something. Like usually what I do is like we leave right after work on a Friday. Like, whenever I go with Aaron or something, we get there on Friday, we get all set up, we do our thing on Friday, and then Saturday we kind of have all day to fish or do whatever, and then Sunday we kind of wake up early so we can get back to the family. And so it just, and then kind of spend Sunday with the family or whatever. But it's, it's hard to do that. It's hard to find an open weekend, especially for me. Right. So anyways, enough about me. How are you guys?
Like, you have a tattoo. I ever knew you had a tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You saw that? Dude, no one ever sees it. It's of Jesus.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's
Jesus' face?
I don't know if you can see it.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weeping Jesus.
All right.
I don't know. I think I was like 21 when I got that. Do you have tattoos, Richard?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think
you don't either, Kevin?
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know if I regret it. I just, I wouldn't get it right now in my life.
Yeah, I just never had the desire. Like,
yeah.
I don't judge people that have them. I just am like, oh,
right.
Like, I don't care.
I almost
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
the
I hear you.
minority now. Like everybody has a tattoo.
Yeah, almost everybody I know has
You know
one.
what I'm saying? So like,
But
Blake has
but
one. I got to go get one.
right?
well, yeah, I mean, two
He does.
honks
He
and
doesn't.
Kevin just
Yeah,
right
he
here
doesn't have
on
a TikTok
right
though.
here on your bicep.
I get a next thing you know, I got a sleeve. I'm like, yeah, I just gotta.
If you the week you find out I have a tattoo, you're like, oh, I gotta start listening to Joe Rogan and,
Yep,
get a tattoo like Blake.
Eat some elk meat.
Get some,
I
get
would
some
die.
elk and
You need to get
jalapenos.
you. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so funny, dude. I'm sweating right now in my garage. It's so hot in here.
Yeah.
Man, you do not look comfortable.
Finally, it's warmed up. I know, right?
I guess we can kind of talk about what we discussed earlier. Uh, to the joke of I kind of brought it up half-heartedly last night. What my intention wasn't to necessarily like make fun of Joe Rogan. I was just like, did you guys hear like the news now? More of a thing. So
Right.
like I don't want you to feel like I was like attacking your boy. I was just
Oh no,
I just
didn't feel
noted
that.
I was just looking online, was like, oh well, you know, I guess some people are talking crap because he
Right.
feels like. So I read a transcript. I didn't listen to it because I just was like, but I did read the transcript of it, and it doesn't sound like he like out and out was like white people are oppressed. He was more along the lines of like, if it keeps going the way it's going, you're gonna have this segregation of people that don't feel comfortable speaking up anymore.
Right.
So
Exactly.
in some aspects that makes sense because there's a lot of talk of like equality, right? When we talk about equality, do you want equality or do you want preferential treatment? Like let's see what you really want. What do you want? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I think in essence of what Joe's talking about there is fine. And is Joe Rogan white?
Yeah, he's full white.
Is he
No,
white?
he's Italian.
I always thought he
Yeah.
was
Like
Spanish or
Cuban
Mexican.
or something.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Just
I always,
because he's dark complected.
No.
I can see how you could think that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the other part that confused me. It was like, why are people attacking him? I don't think he's even white, but I guess he's Italian. So
Yeah. His parents were hippies.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And then and he doesn't know his dad, like or his dad left him or something. I can't remember. Like he hasn't talked to his dad in like forever or whatever. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I listen to Joe so much that like there's nothing that like there's things that he'll say that I'd be like, yeah, I get, I could see someone, and I remember him saying that, and I was just like, well, I kind of get his point. And the only reason people are upset is because he mentioned a color, and then he said silence. Like, for those that don't know, I really don't see the articles, but apparently Joe said something that's going to get to the point where white men are silenced, to where it's going to get so woke to where like you can't get woke enough. So it's just like anything a white man says is wrong because of the past. Basically, is I think is kind of what he was alluding
I
to.
felt like that's what he was going. Kevin, I think you listened to it, didn't you, Kevin? At least it came
Yeah,
off.
I listened to the YouTube clip. Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, go ahead. Blake is spot on right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then even the article mentioned it, where he goes on to talking about just like, he loves everybody, like just be nice to everyone. Like, it's not like, who cares the color, who cares the race? But I think some of his point is like, it's gotten to the point where it's like, if you try to silence everyone, or if someone that is popular or a celebrity or whatever is, has has an opinion that doesn't fit your agenda, it doesn't, like, how have we gotten to the point where it's like, because somebody that is more woke than me has a different opinion than me, they can now cancel me? You know what I'm saying? Because and I guess that's been my whole thing with Joe. It's just like, he's just talking. Like, I don't know. If people just listen to an episode, I think you'll get, who he is. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, Kevin. I don't know if you took it differently.
I took it a little differently, but like I understand spot on why he thinks that. It's because it's the demographic, right? It's like I want to say it like this. It's like white men have made all the decisions So they are now taking the brunt of all those decisions right now, right? So like their
But what
opinion is the
decisions? Like,
highest of the opinion. I'm just talking about everything. Okay, women voting, black people being enslaved. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, so whenever there's an opinion that somebody has, now they're not going to let white men control it right now. Like, and that's what I was talking about. It's all about awareness right now. Like, people aren't going for the shit that was in the '60s and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like when you said like they're going to be scared to say something, they should be scared to say something, because like it's going to go based on the past of all the confusion that they have made. You know what I'm saying?
right. But you're, yeah, but you're focusing on the negative things that have happened in the past, right? So, like, there's been a lot of shit that went down in this country that I
Right.
don't care what race you are, you don't agree with it. I mean, I'm as white as they come. I would never agree with slavery.
Apple
And with
pie
that said,
white.
I've heard plenty of times apple pie white. That's a whole nother level of white. With ice cream. I'm the ice cream on top. I'm the best part of the apple pie, if you ask me. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
um, yeah. Oh shoot, where I was going with that. Yeah, I guess I understand there has been a lot of horrible things that's going on in this country, and some of it's been because of a white man, but I don't know how it gets to a point where it's like now, because of stuff that's happened over centuries of time, that now because of my specific skin color, I'm not allowed to give my opinion. Like, my opinion doesn't matter because I'm a white male or whatever, like am I off? Because I mean, Kevin, I kind of felt
And
like some of your text messages were almost kind of like, well, hey, this is kind of what you white guys get.
it was kind of like that, because you and I was I was trying to be sensitive about it. It's like okay, like I'll
And
be
none
like,
of us replied because none of us
you
white
get what
guys
I'm
knew what to
saying?
say.
Yeah, it's like you made all these decisions. Now it's your bed, right? I did it again, and now it's to the point
But
that we're at your bed. Like, I mean, I didn't tell women that they
I
couldn't vote. You know, Kevin didn't say that. Like, I didn't make that
but
decision.
neither did
Somebody else did.
I.
Yeah, I know.
Neither
But
did
but
I.
but the past is what's getting you. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
The
And
thing,
like people just don't want it to fall back into that
I agree
narrative.
with that. I agree primarily with what you're saying, Kevin. However, I think we have to also understand is, for as many bad white people or whatever as there were
Hmm.
also a lot more good white people
Hmm.
that were against it, fought against it, did whatever they had to do to
Right.
abolish. If there wasn't more good white people than bad, none of that would have went away,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's a
I
it's
good
just
point.
because you guys are weighted. It's
Mhm.
just so weighted on your side. You know, I think Richard gets what
So
I'm
so
saying.
what
Like
you're
like
saying is that
like
it's
the
getting
percentages is in your favor.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like
but
you
but that doesn't mean you get silenced. Like, that doesn't I mean,
Doesn't
look,
it doesn't mean
we're
you get
trying, hold on,
silent.
hold on, hold on.
I
We're
almost feel like and I was thinking about this when you guys were talking about it yesterday. I was like, remember like the WWE had that group that was called Right to Censor,
yeah.
and they
Yep.
like I feel like that's what the time that we're in right now. Like instead of people like I don't like Joe Rogan, so I'm just turn it off. They were just like cancel that, like, and it has to
Just
be.
don't listen. Just don't
Yeah, that's what I'm
listen.
saying. That's what I'm saying. You
Like,
you
just
like
don't listen.
people forget that they have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have like
No,
the Gina
no,
Carano thing. Like I don't have to. I don't even have to like watch anything that she does. Like, I make that choice.
Mhm.
right.
You know?
I think more along to what you were saying, Kevin, it isn't so much as silencing the white man. It's making sure that people of other cultures have the voice too, so
they have the
that
same
their
that
voice isn't so loud.
yeah, it that they have the same. They want the same weight, the
Right.
same. You know what I'm saying? Like there's population wise, there's more white men. They just
Mhm.
want the same equivalent and same voice, and
Yeah,
that's what
it's,
I think. That's what I think the whole wokeness thing is to me. Like they want to stop everything at the
Mhm.
door instead of letting it just trickle down.
Yeah.
But is this the way to do it? Because like everyone is screaming, Black Lives Matters, Asian Lives Matter, homosexuals lives matter. Where like even in the beginning of this whole Black Lives Matter movement, everybody was saying all lives matter, all lives matter, all lives matter. But if you were saying that, you were deemed a racist. But meanwhile, we're talking about every race now matters. And
I think,
that's what we all been saying from the beginning, right? All lives matter.
well,
so
yeah, and I think the point to that, and kind of what I've always said about the Black Lives Movement and the woke movement, is I think really their big issue is with branding, right? They say
Yeah,
things that they don't necessarily mean the exact phrase that they're saying, right? When you talk about defund the police, right? I don't think most of them are saying get rid of the police. They're saying let's take some of that money we're giving the police and spend it differently, not necessarily outside of the police department, but spend it differently in the police department, right? In a lot of cases, that's what people are saying. Same thing with Black Lives Matter, right? We're not saying all lives don't matter, right? If you
right.
have a house, your house matters. But if you're having a plumbing issue, right now, your plumbing is
The
what
plumbing
matters,
issue. Yeah, there you go. I
right.
right?
like
That's
that.
Not
good.
your
Yeah, I like
home.
Yeah.
that.
So, in order to stop your house from flooding and destroying the entire house, you need to focus on your plumbing issue. So, I think that's really what the issue is. It's not necessarily that. I don't think what they're saying is wrong. It's just I think they need somebody that can
They
get
want.
better slogans.
Yeah, yeah, and they want it, and it's an acknowledgement thing. Like right now, we're hurting, so like just acknowledge that we're hurting. You know what I'm saying? I do like that analogy Richard just did too. That's probably like top
So
10 of the year
okay,
right now.
so da-da-da, da-da-da. Put that at the
You
beginning. Put
start
that at the beginning of the show too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Richard Richard finally gets a sound
Some
bite.
kind of way put that. Yeah,
So
put some kind of way put that in there.
so
Intro.
no, our intro's gonna be longer than our show. So in that analogy, are you saying that like the whites are the plumbing right now, and that's
no. What I'm saying is if we don't fix our relationship with Black people, humanity is the house, right? The relationship with Black people or Asian people or whatever is the plumbing that's the problem. Civilization, it's we need to fix that, or the whole thing's going to crumble.
Yeah.
okay? But this isn't the way to do it, right?
Right.
Like
Not the
trying
right
to
way.
hush a bunch of people.
I don't think
That
anybody's saying that. Though. I don't think anybody's saying we need to hush a bunch of people. Like
right.
I think what's attempted to be said is that we need to ensure that equal voice is being given by all. And if you know if that so if there are white men out there that feel like that silences them somehow, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that you should just silence people, like kind of what Kevin said, where like you just turn it off. But at the same time, you need to make sure you're given equal time and equal opportunity, because throughout American history, right, we've done things as a democracy to ensure that everybody's voice is heard. Right, this is why the Electoral College came around, right, because there are fewer farmers out there than there are city people. So to ensure that they had a voice in the elections, that's why the Electoral College came about. So we have done things throughout history to make sure that those in the minority can be heard. So we can continue that with things such, whereas whether it's electing, more African Americans or Asians or whatever, making sure that they're, have more of a chance in elections, things of that nature. So I think that's more along the lines of what Kevin is saying, not necessarily to silence people, but to make sure that equal time and opportunity is heard by all.
And
Yeah.
empathy.
Right.
I
But
think
that's how you
that's
give
the key word.
empathy, right? Is you just hear, you just
Yep,
listen,
all you gotta do is listen. Yeah,
you give people their voice, right? Because they always say that when anybody ever has a problem, the best thing you do is just sit there and listen.
right.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like, especially like kind of probably back to what Joe is referencing, is that
Mhm.
it's kind of what I said. Like, okay, all that's fine, but it doesn't, like, just because I have an opinion, or just because I have, like, I was raised a certain way. I'm from a different culture, or a specific culture, right? Like I kind of had this thought the other day, and I hope it doesn't come off as racist or anything, because it's not what I mean. But it's like, it's okay to not like people, right? Like, we have circles of friends that we hang out with because we like them, right? If Now there may be someone, hey, there was a white male at my job. I simply didn't like him. It didn't matter what color he was. I didn't like him as an individual. I didn't like his character, right? So,
But that's fair.
Man, right? But man, I don't know if this sounds racist or not. I don't know if I think it's okay, but like, I can understand why certain people don't like other people simply because of their race or their culture or their religion or their, right? Like, no different if you don't like them because they don't cheer for the same team as you. I'm not saying that's right, but like, that is common, right? Like, there's, rather if they're Asian or black or Mexican or Japanese, like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I don't like them because they don't speak my language. Like, there's people out there that say that, which isn't right in itself. That's a horrible reason not to like them. But I hope I'm making my point correctly. It's more of like a cultural thing. I feel like I don't know, but I don't know. It's hard to explain it, I guess.
Yeah, you confuse the hell out of me.
I think culturally speaking, like, there always has been indications of not even races, but cultures, right? Where you say maybe the Italians don't like the Irish, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be black and white, right? Like, this culture doesn't like the Germans not liking the Jews, right? They're both technically white, or am I wrong on that?
Right? I don't know. You're smarter than me.
To me, they're right.
That's on you.
Right. So they're both technically white, but they're just culturally different. So I don't know. But I think where you end up catching everything is when you systematically do things, when you have a majority vote, right? You probably should be careful in not tearing down the minority point of view, right? So, like, if you know that as a white person, you can always get over 50% of the vote over a black person, right? You should probably have some sort of moral obligation to ensure that this person gets heard, right? I mean, and in that sense, right? So I think you kind of teeter a really careful line, and when you say, well, I don't like them because they're black, and not that you're saying that, I'm saying somebody, right? So, and I think that's where we have the problem of, is if you always have a majority vote as a person and you never give the minority vote a chance, that I think that's where, and I think that's also a lot of the problem with what Kevin's talking about as well, right? Have you ever, so like having kids, right? If I were to always give my daughter say so over my son, when my son turns 15 or 16, he's going to not like me anymore. And he's going to be belligerent against me because he's going to say, well, you always liked Cassie better than you like me, so I don't like you anymore. Right. So it's just the same kind of buildup I feel like you might have. If you see that, and if it systematically has happened over time, over years, we don't even need to talk about slavery, right? Because we can lead up to like a week ago, right? When you can say that there's a high probability of, racism, just things not going well today, right? So we don't even need to talk about slavery in order to understand that there's a high probability. And even our conversation about Kaepernick earlier, right? The point wasn't necessarily that Tebow got a contract. It's that Tebow got a contract 11 years after he played in the NFL. 3 years ago, I think CBS reported that Kaepernick was willing to be a backup.
Right.
And he can't get a spot. So why?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think Kaepernick was on the way out, and we kind of questioned that. I don't know how good he was at that time, but
Curtis Painter was a starter for a year. He went 0-1
right.
Back up, carry a clipboard, and they talk, and then if the quarterback gets injured, the job of the backup is to simply handle game time. It's not the backup is not expected to throw 400 yards. He's expected to hold the ball and give it to the running back at that point in time. He's expected to be a Trent Dilfer who won a Super Bowl.
I think a lot of that was the media aspect of things. Like they just didn't want to deal with the, same thing with Tebow. I mean, to be honest, we kind of talked about it, but I feel like Tebow kind of got that same treatment that, well, if he's on your team, then you're gonna get the quote unquote circus with him.
And to a point, I agree with that. But at the same time,
I would think
it's not like Tebow's popularity has died. If even more, he's more popular today.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. And look, a lot of it comes from the boosters. A lot of it comes from the money up top if they want somebody on the team or not.
I feel like that
could be the race card right there. That could be white, right? A bunch of white rich men that
that made the decision, yeah.
Right? I mean, and I feel like if Urban Meyer hadn't been the head coach of that team, Tim Tebow probably would not be there.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably right. And look, I mean, the guy went off and did baseball, and he's, I guess he has just as much of a shot as anyone to. He's a freak athlete.
I have nothing against him having the spot. Like I don't mind. Like, I'm actually kind of happy for the guy. I'm like, well,
yeah.
On the flip side of that, like,
it's
well, why can't Kaepernick get a job?
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny that those two are linked in that discussion. Go ahead, Kevin.
Right. It's just principality, right? At this point, and both of them really got shunned believing in something. Like it's unfair. They both got kicked out for believing in something, and that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't affect your job.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's got. Does she want something to eat too, Richard?
No, she just came down to say hi. I think it's her actually is what. Yeah.
Right on.
What's going on in Israel and Gaza right now?
So the situation with Israel and Gaza is really confusing to a lot of people. So it's basically what happens is Israel claims right to Jerusalem in all things. I mean, that's, the Holy Land or whatever. So Gaza or Hamas or whatever,
right.
Years ago, before we were even interested in the news, basically Israel kind of started taking over their territory, saying this is us, this is ours. That is what it is. I don't know much about that. What I do know is apparently Hamas fired some rockets towards Israel, and Israel's got this Iron Dome that was given to them by us that basically blocked like 95% of them.
Wow.
And then of course Israel fired back, and now Israel's the bad guy because they have more firepower, and America is giving them all this firepower, and Israel is terrible because they are kicking these people out of their, like, that part I'm not sure about the whole kicking people out of the home thing. But even like, so the thing that confuses me is if you look up Hamas, right? And if you look at the people that are supporting Hamas are basically, I get the Democrats, right? We can say that the Democratic side tends to, for some reason, be more for Hamas and against Israel because they view Israel as this powerhouse. But if you look at Hamas was deemed as a terrorist organization by Bill Clinton, right? And do you know what they do to gay people?
What's that?
They suspected one of their head officers to be gay. You know what they did to him? They killed him. So it's surprising. It's surprising to me that they are all for Hamas. I understand not liking the conflict in general, and I understand the big guy versus the little guy scenario. But let's make no mistake: just because you're a little guy doesn't mean you're a good guy, right? I mean, that's something we have to be careful to guess. So now we have all this conflict back and forth where Israel hit a news station area that I guess had Al Jazeera and a couple other international news, and apparently that's an act of war, or that's a war crime, I guess, so to speak. But before they did this, they did tell them, we're going to hit this space because you have a terrorist organization working out of this building, so we're just going to destroy it. So Hamas has, and look, anytime you have a terrorist organization, they hide behind women and children, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know the right answer to it, right? It's like, what do you do? Right? You have this terrorist organization, and then even Barack Obama said, look, if I know that you're hurling missiles at my wife and kids, all bets are off. I mean, Barack Obama was quoted as saying that against Hamas and the Israel conflict back when it was going on during his presidency. So I don't know what switched all of a sudden for the Democratic Party, but it's just kind of a weird, it's just a weird thing. And look, war is no good for anybody, and always only hurts the little man, right? In the end, it's your soldiers, your women, your children. They're the ones that always get hurt by this, not the people in charge. So it's just a really unfortunate situation where, you know, Hamas is deemed as a terrorist organization, and they are hiding behind, you know, all this, hurling missiles at Israel, and basically, I don't know why they're doing it per se, other than they've always been in conflict for years and years and years about wanting this land back. And I mean, Israel's always been fought over, right? Ever since the, you know, what was it, the Muslims and the Templars, and you know, back in the, you know, what was it, like 11 Crusades. So
I mean, doesn't this just show you that like no race can get along?
No, I mean,
right?
I mean, look, I mean, and we talk about slavery, right, and all that, and like, you know, Jews were enslaved, you know, Irish people were enslaved. Like, it's just all of the world.
It was part of the world.
Jews probably had it the worst.
History.
The world is shitty, right? I mean, that's people in general are just shitty, regardless of your race, regardless of everything. And shitty people sees no color, you know. So it's unfortunate, and you know, it's things are so confusing because you'll hear Israeli people say, well, they threw bombs at us and they did this and they did that. And then you hear the Gaza people say, well, you know, they're taking our land and doing this and doing that. And it's like, I don't know which one of y'all are right, but all I know is women and children are dying. And, you know, I know that as a country, we've deemed this group, Hamas, as a terrorist organization. And they have a history of hiding behind women and children. They have a history of putting like their you know, where they work out of behind, you know, places they know have women and children to prevent them from being bombed. So I don't know what you do, right? It's
right.
Yeah, I
just know it's been big news lately, and I couldn't really understand it. So it's basically they're fighting over the Holy Land of Jerusalem, right? To see who has stake and claim of it.
So Israel pretty much is. I mean, at the end of the day, Israel pretty much has it in terms of, you know, whose it is. There were agreements, right, that Gaza would, you know, slowly move out, or they would be allowed to stay in certain places. I don't know if those airstrikes is what changed Israel's mind on everything. And now they're like, no, y'all just got to get out now because you guys are throwing missiles at us. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how all that works per se. And you're right, Kevin. The problem is I feel like everybody's got their opinion on what's going on over there. So you just kind of have to just say, well, this is what's going on. I don't know what's right, but this is what I can tell you. I can tell you one of them hide behind women and children, and the other one's just kind of like, you know, fighting back, I feel like.
Right.
You know, and I think the reason
so who's fighting back? Israel?
I feel like it's Israel, and Israel is just made out to be bad because they have more power, more firepower.
Right, and they're getting help from the U.S., right?
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's how we stabilize the Middle East, right? Is we put that's what you have to do to stabilize an area, right? You have to become allies. It's the game of freaking Risk, right? You get an area, you have ally, and then you put your troops in that area, and then no one will mess with you.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a strategic thing.
It's so crazy that it I mean, you know, you served in the military. It's just so crazy that it comes to that. I mean, is it all just on ego? Is it just pride? Like the bottom line, is it just pride and money? The root of all evil.
Well, the quote technically is the desire for money is the root of all evil.
Shut up, Richard. Stop correcting me.
Honey is the root of all evil.
It's the only
But-
scripture I know.
But well, now
John
you know.
3:16.
Yeah. No,
And I use the first one wrong all the time, apparently.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just, it's one of those things where part of it is probably greed, part of it's probably religious. I mean, I don't know. I think Hamas are Muslim, and then the Israelis are Jews. So I think there's a religious component to it as well, where, like I said, the Muslims fought for the land for years and years and years. And there's a spot over there where I guess supposedly Muhammad basically went to heaven, like in that spot. So I don't know the actual, but then also that's also the area where, King David, and that's basically, King David is next to Jesus in the Bible, right? When you talk about Bible stories and people in the Bible, so it's just a holy area, right? So I think when you talk about that kind of thing, I think really it comes down, unfortunately, to religion.
Wow. So has U.S. always backed Jerusalem or Israel? 'Cause isn't that what you said at the beginning?
Yeah, I think it's Israel. Yeah, it's Israel for the most part, and a lot of it is primarily because it's a strategic point in the Middle East for us to attempt to maintain peace or whatever
and have accessibility, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what you want, right? You want to have a place where you can land your ships if shit goes down. Especially when you talk about how Russia they are and just all that.
Is that race cars in the background, Kevin?
The cars just went off. That's a motorcycle.
Oh, okay. At first, I thought it was like a horn. I thought somebody was playing trumpet in the background.
No,
I was like, this is good timing.
Right.
Do you think there's a chance we go to war with China?
No, I think realistically speaking, if we were to go to war with China, it would be a very bad situation for everybody, and not just
for both sides, right?
For everybody, it would be a very bad situation. I don't know if China necessarily wants war per se, because look, war nowadays among civilized nations is financial, right? So, and also cyber.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we'll necessarily, because America would be such a hard place to take over, right? You land troops over here, and next thing you know, you got the Crips shooting at you. So you're not coming over here and taking over anything. Like it's just not going to happen.
But it's the same there too. Like where are you going to have this war?
Right. That's the whole point.
Like if you go there, they're massively. They have more population. Like Blake, what makes you ask that? Like I haven't heard anything about that.
I don't know. It's honestly, it's me not knowing anything, about politics and whatnot. But I just kind of like what's going on with the NBA, and then like I've kind of heard guests on Rogan talk, about some stuff that's going down in China that's just wrong, and different people that have spoken against the government have gone missing, and it sounds like some gangster crap going on. So I don't know. I just didn't know if it was ever going to get. Because I really didn't. Honestly, it was like the whole NBA situation where I really kind of realized like how much power, China has. I mean, I know everything everything's made in China. It seems like, so I just didn't know if there was anything,
It's all financial. It's all financial power, United States and then China, right? So you talk about your movies, for instance, right? You'll do $500 million here in the States, but then you go over to China and you do $1 billion. So, that's just for like your movies. And that's why a lot of your movie companies kind of just do what China asks in terms of censorship. Right. So it kind of shows you, unfortunately, it's one of those things, right? It's like at one hand, it's like, okay. So Disney, if you're going to cut out John Boyega in, the Star Wars, things over there because they don't like him because he's black. How woke are you? But then you'll come over here and you'll preach being woke. But at the same time, it's like, well, they provide for a lot of people, right? They pay a lot of people's bills when they hire all these people when they do. So you have to ask, what's the greater good in the end?
Yeah.
They really cut out.
Huh?
They really cut out over there in the movie.
They cut them out of like the poster. I think it was. I think they. So if
Okay.
you look at China posters versus our posters, you'll notice
Yeah, I
that
know.
African American people typically will be big in our poster, but then over there will either be absent or will be teeny tiny in the background.
Right.
See, it's so weird that the sorry if you can hear that car in the background, but it's so weird that the blacks have gotten like why does China not like blacks?
See, now
I'm feeling sorry
you
for you,
woke,
Kevin.
homie.
Why do
Why do white people don't like blacks? That's
say,
what
why
I'm
do
saying.
people not like blacks?
Yeah.
I don't
What'd you say? Yeah. Why does everybody hate you all?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Now you see what I'm saying?
It,
Trying to find her place,
but like
man.
but see, but
But
that's the
didn't
simplicity of it.
Stefan Marbury get like celebrated over there?
if you I mean if you have a skill set or something like that, or if you do something like so when in terms of sports, right? If you could do a sport, China and Russia, they don't care. Like if you could do a sport, you're gold over there.
So
So
weird.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's so weird. Crap. I was about to ask a question about that. Oh, you said I was gonna transition. I can't remember now. I just lost it. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I mean in terms of the Israel and Hamas stuff, like you had to do your own research to come up with any
Right.
opinion. I've watched news story after news story, and it's always something different. And it's like I think this is the first time something has happened, and I'm like, I really don't know what's happening. Like
What's
I
going
don't.
on? Yeah.
I understand. Like the only reason I kind of conform of opinion is because I've read like the series of events, and it's like, well,
Right.
but then again, it's like, is that series really true? Like, who's bullshitting me there? So it's just, I try so hard to stay out of like the news things, and I try to rely more on, documentation in terms,
Right.
whether it be science documentation or whatever everybody else is doing. And of course, we're about to shut down, but I think Jared wants in on something. Maybe he's
Go ahead.
maybe he's gonna talk
Jared's
about
getting
Stephen
in.
Marbury. Or maybe he got
is about to talk about stuff.
beat up in a Target when he was for his cards.
What up, Jared?
What's going on, boys?
Chilling, man.
Just
Chilling.
talking
It's been a
about
while, man.
racist stuff. I think I came
Talking
on
about
as a
racist
racist
stuff
again,
and people
so.
getting beat up at Target for basketball cards.
Hey, it's true.
What's that about?
True.
I didn't hear about that.
His football cards.
Man.
Well, so the issue with cards are people will. So there's two things. So there's employees that will quote unquote backdoor them. So employees will take them out of the boxes from the vendors before the vendors put them out, and they'll purchase them. And so there's less for the consumer, people like me who want to buy the cards. And then two, there'll be people who will come in and purchase basically everything before anybody could get there. So,
Right.
But what's happened now is like Target has just totally shut down cards completely. Either this week or next week, they're going to stop selling trading cards, Pokemon, sport,
and trading cards. Yeah.
whatever. So I think Walmart and Meijer are the only people left now. So, and like your local card shop, like the
Right.
mom and pop. So,
Comic
yeah.
stores.
There was definitely people pulling guns on people because somebody took too many cards or somebody wasn't being truthful or what have you. But I mean, locally, the people I've dealt with ever, like at the cards, at Walmart, at Target, at Meijer, like it's, you got first, second, third, whatever, and then you just go down the line, and however many of those packs or boxes or whatever, they just hand them out based on the order you got there, and then when we run out, you run out. So we try to be pretty fair about it, at least here locally. That's what I've dealt with. But the people
that's probably a pretty common thing. It's probably been going on for years, where people that work at stores, whether it be shoes or, like you said, cards, or I don't know, maybe paintings or whatever, anything that comes in, that they can get their hands on and then go sell it, for double the price. I mean, it makes it to where it's so hard for, the consumers to get anything of value.
Yeah, that's the problem is if somebody working at Walmart, Target, Meijer can purchase a product at face value, 19, 20, 30 bucks, and they can turn around and sell it for 3, 4, 5x. I mean,
yeah, man, it's business.
Yeah, right?
it's business.
Who
wouldn't do that?
Yeah, we used to sell airheads in high school. You know what I'm saying?
A guy at work was telling me about he used to go, and vendors would literally set up, and the vendors would always have to take the picture to see what their company would see what the setup was, and then it would get trashed literally 10 minutes away after him walking away.
Exactly.
Yeah, they would just watch them set up.
100% the truth. I've seen it happen. I mean, at least up here at the places that I've gone, people are pretty controlled about it, and like the first 2 people in line will pick up everything, however many boxes or packs there are, and turn around and hand them down the line, of however many people are that were in line, so that everybody gets some, and pretty fair about it. But I've heard about people pushing, shoving, like the first guy in line will clear out the whole box, everything that the vendor puts out, and
just buy it all. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We talking about other countries fighting over land. I mean, we'll fight over some dang basketball cards.
Right.
In Walmart, we don't care. In our pajamas.
Especially if it's in Beach Grove.
That's a
Boy,
fact.
you get shot there. Hey,
yeah.
I wanted to transition into this because I know we're going on, and I know we're short on time. Steph or LeBron tonight?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
Who are you cheering?
I know Richard and I really haven't been into. Oh, Steph, of course.
Yeah, the rhythm Steph's in. I'll pick, if I was betting real cash money, I would bet on Steph. But I mean,
so hold on. The Warriors have to win. Is that right to advance?
No, not technically. They could lose this and then win the next game to get in the playoffs. Right, Jared?
So they just have to win one of the they have to win one of the next 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with if they lose, they can play the winner of San Antonio and still get in.
Correct.
Which Memphis is up right now by 4.
But it just puts them in a bad spot. Like, you got to win the next game. All right? But, like, in a one-game situation, the player that I would never want to go against is Steph. I would never want to go against Steph in a one game. Yeah, out of all players. Yeah, out of all players.
I mean, I really haven't been following it as much as I usually do, but just like the highlights, and I think one of you guys sent a picture of like him literally being quadruple doubled, like just past half court line. I mean, it really is amazing to watch this little dude. Just his handles are so good that he can get in the lane, and he has one of the best finishing rates in the NBA, and then he's the best shooter in the NBA, and he has questionably the best handles in the NBA, and the dude can drop dimes like it. I mean, he really is like almost, if he was 3 inches taller, I mean, dude, like he would literally have everything. Kevin, you're gonna have to smile here in a minute so we can see you.
I know, man. Dang, hey, we were just talking about racism, right?
That ain't racism.
Just talking about racism,
That's
right?
a joke. Look at Richard.
Whoa.
Come on, bro.
Right.
You know I got love for you. Oh, come on. That's a love joke.
That's awesome.
We talk like that all the time. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, he's just amazingly fun, dude. Like he makes the whole league fun. Like so, I feel sorry for who has to play with him in a
And the
legit
Lakers
series.
the defending champions, but go ahead.
I said I feel sorry for whoever has
he
to play
just
with
said
him in
that
a series.
he feels sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
That's
Lakers
what makes
are
it
the
fun.
defending champions, but like,
Who's favored to win it?
Played that much together this year, so like, you know,
who's favored to win?
Nobody.
Well,
Who's played together consistently.
Right.
That's my whole thing. Who's played? Brooklyn hasn't played together.
So are we all in agreement that all these dudes just took time off this year, or do you think they were really hurt?
No,
they took time off.
The Lakers are favored by 6, just according to Las Vegas and the books. But
Jared's already put $100 down.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's like, I got your Bitcoin right here.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll buy the dip.
Yeah. I guess we can give everybody an update on our riches over here. So what's up, Richard? It's dropped the last couple. So what happened with Elon Musk? Like apparently everyone's saying it dropped because of Elon.
Part of it was because Tesla decided not to take Bitcoin anymore. Majority of it was because of China.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because is this because China wants to control it?
There's a thought that China did that, and now they're buying a bunch of it.
Yeah. Well, hey,
didn't like all the markets go down for it, like Coinbase?
Everything. The stock market's down in general, but everything is down. Yeah, I mean, look. Let me read you this. I have at the top. Dogecoin is down 28%. Bitcoin is down 11%. Ethereum is down 27%. Litecoin's down 35%. It's all down. Like it's all down in the double digits.
Well, that show I told you guys I was watching yesterday on Netflix, Money Explained or whatever. The very first episode. Did you watch that, Jared?
I've watched like 5 or 6 of those episodes.
Really? I watched one, and I started watching another one. And I just kind of got over it, but yeah, I mean, it was talking about like all of these pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes and get rich quick schemes, these spam, all it's been going on for centuries. And then they started talking about, there was one called OneCoin, I think like 2015 or whatever, now, and they were talking about this is the same thing where it's people hit it when it's low, and then all these events, or it goes up, and then all these investors get out, and it drops, and they just make their money. It's just a scheme. So I don't know. Someone's probably pocketed my $50.
It's gone, man. It's a goner. It's straight dip.
Do you, Richard? Do you think it's going to end up being some type of scheme, or do you think it's going to stay around and be legit?
I think there's a few that are going to be legit. I mean, you have to think there's literally hundreds of different crypto coins out there. I think for the most part, it's here to stay. I mean, Bitcoin's been around for over 10 years at this point in time. And it's only gone up. And even though Dogecoin is down to 30 cents, like earlier this year, it was like 0.4 of a cent.
So it's still gone up.
It's still gone up. Right. Like I've still made a couple $100, even despite it's dropped this much. Like I've still made money if I were to pull out today.
Right.
So
there you go.
I think we'll be all right. I think China is probably buying a bunch of it now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
And they'll go back up.
I mean, that's so what keeps the government from doing this?
Nothing. That's what we were talking about the other day, was that all it takes is a government entity to be like, it's done. All it takes is for China to say this is illegal, and you're done. Like if China were to come out and say, you cannot use this as currency here in this country. If you do business in this country, you cannot take crypto. You're done.
But why? But that's China. I mean, why couldn't we just keep it in the States?
We just had the conversation where China is such a financial powerhouse.
They own the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
because we have. But I guess my point was that if there's still cash available, but this is just a separate currency, a separate way, like
Right.
just pay them cash. You know what I'm saying? Or keep doing business with them like normal, and we can have our own money.
Right, but the whole point of it is supply and demand, right? If less places are demanding it, if less places are accepting it, then it's not
Right.
even worth as much. So if you have
Right.
all these companies that are also American-based companies, and China says if you take that crypto stuff, you can't do business in our country.
Yeah.
Then
If you accept crypto, then we're not making your product, or we're gonna raise the price or whatever. Yeah, I
right,
get it.
or you can't do
They
business.
stronghold you.
Yep. If China tells Disney, if you accept cryptocurrency, we won't show any of your movies anymore.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Well, I mean, it's also risky for the business, even like a restaurant or a bakery or what have you, and they accept crypto and they accepted it 2 days ago, and then it drops 28-30%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what they accepted 3 days ago, versus what they accept now is like dramatically different. They've lost money selling the same exact product, whatever that is, rather, whatever their business is. So that's the hard part about accepting that as a currency.
Yeah, I also can see where it's kind of smart if the currency is going to be a thing. It's kind of smart for these businesses to just it's almost like a savings in a way, right? It's just like this. They keep expanding their crypto, their currency, I guess, and then whenever it's time to, I guess I don't understand like the cash. I always think about the cashing in process of it, right? But I guess I need to stop thinking that I'm eventually getting that $50 back and then some, right? It's going to double, triple, maybe quadruple, whatever, and then I just use whatever that is to buy my Starbucks or to buy whatever, right? You never get the money because it's a totally different thing, obviously.
You can cash it out. I mean, it's not, it's just like having, a euro and then going to the bank and saying, hey, I'd like to take this and make this into US dollars. You'd pay like a fee of some sort, and then they'd, call it a day. So it's, yeah, I mean, in that in a sense, you can cash it out. But like you said too, like you want to get a pizza, you can use 4/10 of a Bitcoin and go get a pizza.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but at the same time, if any of us that filled out our taxes this year, like I did personally, like on TurboTax, like one of the question was, did you buy or sell any any cryptocurrency?
Yep.
And they're taxing the shit out of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're only taxing it to take it out. Like,
yeah, right.
They'll tax it like I think it's 15% if you've held on to it for more than a year. But
it's crazy.
If you try to cash it out under a year, they'll tax you 30%.
Isn't it crazy that they can touch money? They touch something that in a way you're gambling on. Like it's so hard to make money. Like just let us have our money. Like everything's so damn expensive. Let us have our freaking money, man. Like, dude, listen, I work for a trailer company. We're raising all of our prices. You know what that does to everything else? It just raises its prices, right? Because we're the delivery company. We're the people that, so now all these truck drivers have to charge even more, to run their product. Therefore, it just hits us. And then you get a 50-cent raise every so many years or whatever, it's just, unless you're Richard, you get a new, I was gonna say, unless you're Richard, you get a new job every month and keep making more money.
He's like, forget that, I'm not going back in. Nope.
Yeah, I'm not going
somewhere else.
Looking now.
Oh, you wanted to come out of my basement? Forget that.
Yeah, we're done.
Raised somewhere else.
Yeah, Richard has been home too long. He ain't never going back to work.
This is so comfortable, man. It's nice to like punch in, check an email, go make some eggs, eat your eggs, sit back down, check a couple more emails, go to the gym, come back home. Like it's life.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's almost like you're retired with a little bit of work to do.
That's exactly what it feels like. It's like, oh, I got some work to do. I guess I'll start. It's at 7 o'clock at night. I'll go ahead and do a couple hours worth of work now. Like
that's crazy.
Now, right?
What's that?
You'll get it. Do it now instead of doing it at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, as long as it gets done, they don't care.
And listen, I was talking to my boss about that today because there was a guy, a mechanic, his fiance was having some heart issues, and like he keeps on having to take all this time off work and all this stuff, and it just, I mean, you know how that is. You take time off work, then not only do you eat through your PTO days, but you're losing money and all this stuff, and his poor fiance is going through all these health issues, but it's just like. Like that's how the corporate world is, but it's like, kind of what you're doing, Richard. It's just like, how much greater is that? Where it's just like, I know I have a job to do. And as long as it's done by the end of the day, I'm good.
Yeah. Deadlines, they don't care.
That's, and man,
all you have to do is be,
of course, not every industry's like that, but
no, it's not. I mean, I'm, lucky. Like it's not like it's one of those things where like I know that I'm lucky and it's a good thing.
But you've also put time in and years in to be in the position to do that, So it all comes with experience and time, but so all right on.
Jared, it looks like you want to say something.
You can walk.
No, my kids at me.
Your kids what?
My kids are talking to me, man.
Are we gonna experience a butt whooping on air?
We're gonna really get canceled.
I already told my kid she can have whatever she wants to eat. Just don't bother me. Just give me an hour, man.
Either three white guys. I don't know where Kevin on here somewhere.
Kevin looks like one of those people in an interview that people doesn't want to know, that he doesn't want everybody to know. He doesn't want his employer to know that he's ratting them out. Like that's
oh yeah. Just give me like the muted sound.
Change your voice, Kevin.
Why is it racist when I say it?
Because he's in the dark. Like
it was the delivery.
You could be sitting there. It would still be the same way.
Oh well, I don't know. I'm pretty white. I'd probably light up the sky.
Yeah.
If I was sitting next to Kevin, I'd be the flashlight. We'd be good together, Kevin. We'd be good together.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Throw the ice cream on the apple pie.
That's right. Oh man, is that a wrap or what?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
I'm sweating.
Man, it feels good out. I don't know why you're sweating.
I should be outside.
It's a cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
that meth in.
It's the cocaine.
I was going to say it was 2 margaritas I had at dinner, but
where'd you eat?
I love some margaritas.
Where'd you eat? Oh, that place is good.
yeah.
Did you get a Pizookie?
We're too tired. So we had to
What the fuck